Whatever it is. But how many of them? Training was a lot. I mean, oh yeah, that was a good idea. Turn on a trackpad? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll take pictures. You make a video of it? Did you see that? And on the screen, it said, oh, I got that. Oh, that's good.
Request Mrs. Dr. Sharkey. Mrs.
Okay, I gotta get. I'm too brown, dude. I'm a little brown, dude. Okay, maybe I should. Oh, let me get into it.
What is this doing? You guys are going to be on the two sides there. You guys should be on the two sides. Because you guys are going to be coming up and down, up and down. Right? Yeah. Whose stuff is this? Does this music on purpose? Yes. Jeff, where are you sitting? Anyway. Just sitting.
I like how you dress the part, brother. Nice. Good, dressed up a little bit. There's guys who wear glazers. Uncle Rohan came in like a blazer. He's like, oh, you have to put shadow player. Are you gonna come sit with us or what? Are you gonna go home?
No, I'm here.
Oh, are you gonna? So where are you gonna sit?
We're looking at my station.
Nice station. How was your day? Did you eat anything?
Not really.
I got halim and biryani for you. It was very good. I know you should know what it was.
Your hand वो है ना से?
हाँ
Do you speak Urdu?
थोड़े थोड़े
थोड़ी
Yeah.
तो जो है वो है
ठीक है।
जबी
You want cupcakes? I can bring it for you.
No, just kidding.
Because the one who made it, she is my friend's daughter.
I'll wait though.
Okay?
Thank you.
अभी मैंने दोपहर में 2 बजे बताया उन्होंने कहा
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum and welcome to ICSB's graduation ceremony honoring our 2018 Grad. My name is Angela Sayed and I will be your MC for tonight. I hope that all of you are very excited to see this amazing program coming for all of you tonight. So as we start with all our events here at ICSB, I would like to have Qari Anas come and give us a Quran recitation. So other than serving as our mentor since 2014, Qari Anas is the director of the Quran Academy here at ICSB, and he's a professional in teaching Quran, Arabic, reading, and memorization. Qari Anas.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية يرجون تجارة لن تبور ليوفيهم أجورهم ويزيدهم من فضله إنه غفور شكور والذي أوحينا إليك من الكتاب هو الحق مصدقا لما بين يديه إن الله بعباده لخبير بصير ثم أورثنا الكتاب الذين اصطفينا من عبادنا فمنهم ظالم لنفسه ومنهم مقتصد ومنهم سابق بالخيرات بإذن الله ذلك هو الفضل الكبير جنات عدن يدخلونها يحلون فيها من أساور من ذهب ولؤلؤا ولباسهم فيها حرير وقالوا الحمد لله الذي أذهب عنا الحزن إن ربنا لغفور شكور الذي أحلنا دار المقامة من فضله لا يمسنا يمسنا فيها نصب ولا يمسنا فيها لغوب صدق الله العظيم. جزاك الله خير.
Jazakallah khair, Qari Anas, for the beautiful recitation. Now I would like to have Brother Muhammad Hijazi lead us in a dua. So Brother Hijazi is a Southern California native and graduate of UCLA. He plays an active role in the masjid, as I am sure all of you are aware.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Here we go, here's the energy. I just wanted to start off by saying congratulations to the graduates. MashaAllah, what you have achieved, many are still striving to achieve, and it is a great honor to be a Muslim graduate of universities of California, MashaAllah. And I just wanted to say thank you to all who are supporting them, and thank you for those who put this together. Jazakallah khairan. You are giving us motivation to continue our studies, inshallah. And now I just wanted to start with a little dua for the graduates and for the future of Islam. Oh Allah, we ask you to open our hearts for the sake of you. Oh Allah, you have gathered us all here for the sake of you, and we are honoring our graduates today. Ya Allah, make these graduates and make the future of this ummah the bright stars of this nation. Ya Allah, we ask you to make our futures from here of Lomira Masjid, presidents of the United States, congressmen, congresswomen, in the media, doctors, lawyers. Ya Allah, we ask you to make some of them engineers and the best of engineers. Ya Allah, we ask you to keep them on the straight path and to guide their hearts to the straight path. Ya Allah, we ask you to make their hearts love for their parents and to keep them close to their parents. Ya Allah, we ask you to continue their studies and help them with their studies. And for those who need the funding to their studies, Ya Allah, we ask you to open up gates for them into which they can continue their studies. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Hijazi. Now to kick off our ceremony, I would like to have Dr. Iraj Irshadi share a few words with us. Now, Dr. Irshadi is a professor of chemical engineering and Master of Science at USC, and also serves as the director of the Petroleum Engineering Program at USC. His accomplishments are vast, and we are very proud to have him as a member of our community here at ICSB. And then I would like to have Dr. Mirza come and also sit in the front.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, parents and guests, for attending this event. This is a very important event that we've been holding for, I think, the last 4 years. And what you have to realize is that Masjid al-Ramita is becoming like a new laboratory in terms of the environment it's creating for graduating children, youth, and encouraging them and providing mentorship and support, because in the future, it will be the same graduates that you see here, will be the same young people who will be supporting this masjid. So it's not a giving tree, they're going to give back to the tree. What's important is, I'm going to use an expression we use these days. It's called the world that never was. I don't know if you understand what that means. What it means is that many of you who are graduating, so you were born, say, 17, 18 years ago, as you probably may not know, there was no cell phone 17 years ago. These things were introduced in 2007. So the world is changing. Communication is changing, transportation is changing, the health sciences is changing. There are new solutions being developed for taking care of this illness and the pain that people go through. Now, if you go back 800 years ago, before we have all this doom and gloom in the Islamic world, where for whatever reason that I don't want to get involved, the Muslims were behind in terms of advancement of technology, let us not forget that the contribution of Muslims in the golden ages was amazing. Again, I keep showing you my cell phone. In this cell phone, there are a whole bunch of apps, and each of these apps is based on an algorithm, and the word algorithm was an Arabic word. It all comes from the time that Muslims were contributing to the science of geometry and arithmetic and medicine. So what happened? Well, we can't really get back into, worried about what happened last 800 years, but this is the time to start. This is the time to look into the future. This is time to see that we can make a world, and it's going to be a world made in the next 10, 15 years that's different than the world that you and I were born in 10 years ago. The question is, should the Muslim take leadership in the development of science and technology? Muslims don't do anything unless it is prescribed in the Hadith or the Quran. We are the only religion, as you can imagine, that is specifically mentioned, "Oh Allah, increase me in knowledge." This is the only religion that says, "Iqra rabbika," read in the name of your God who created the whole world. This is the only religion that God says in the Surah that basically, do you think the people who know are the same as the people who don't know? So there's so much emphasis in learning, so much emphasis in advancing the knowledge that you don't see it anywhere else. So there's really no conflict between Islam and science. And I think it's the job of our graduates, inshallah, to advance, to actually feel obligated that they have no reason to get average grades. They have to be among the best, among the most progressive. I'd like to see my lifetime, the day that the people who offer employment says, I'd like to get a Muslim because these guys are serious. They work best. I'd like to see a day where the universities will accept the Muslim applicants because they're doing the best. I think we can all work in that direction. It would be very hard to control that worldwide, but the Islamic Center of Salisbury, I'm proud to tell you, I'm working with a group of people, alhamdulillah, who are very progressive. They have that vision, they look into that. It takes cooperation of every one of you to make that dream come true. And inshallah, in about 10 years from now, we're talking about the world that never was. We're going to build that world, and inshallah, our graduates, our successor graduates will be part of that. Thank you very much. I introduce you Brother Mirza, who is the president of the Islamic Center, who has been working
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to reverse the tradition and start my talk by thanking those who made this event possible. And alhamdulillah, with the looks of it, successful. The volunteers. It has become a tradition to thank them at the end when everyone is gone, nobody is listening, and also the volunteers are also gone, most of them, or busy still working. Alhamdulillah, these are the people sitting right here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and reward you. The volunteer organizing committee who reaches out to every corner of our community to seek help to make these events successful. We are grateful to you and may Allah reward you. This institution, this center has only one purpose, and will always have the same, which is to please our Creator. He is the Khaliq, We are the makhluk. What does the Creator want from us? He wants from us nothing but ibadah. Go deep in the word of ibadah. Every single act in life, in your breath that you take, that you do, should be a ibadah, should be halal, should be for nothing but just to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to create a character amongst the children and upcoming people in our community of such a magnitude that even malaika go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, Allah, haq, you said it right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, you created the best of the best. And that's why we are required in Islam to be better and better every single day of our life. Education should be such that, just like Dr. Shabi said, that we should not suffice by being mediocre. Where did the Gibran come from? Where did Ibn Sina come from? Why have we lost the track? Tafakkur, think and see why we went array, why we made a left turn. So inshallah, this is why this gathering is, to acknowledge and to recognize those who are superstars in our community and who are heading in that direction. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them strength. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide us with the attitude, energy, and knowledge to build such centers in which we can develop such makhluk who can be constantly doing the ibadah to please our Creator. Jazakumullahu khair.
Thank you, Brother Mirza and Dr. Shabi, for the very enlightening and wise words. So our keynote speaker for the night is Brother Jihad Turk. So Brother Jihad is the founding president of Bayina Claremont Islamic Graduate School, which is the nation's first Muslim graduate school to offer accredited master's degree in the fields of Islamic studies, education, chaplaincy, and leadership. Brother Jihad previously served as the Imam and Director of the Religious Affairs at the Islamic Center of Southern California, which is LA's oldest and largest mosque. So let's give a warm ICSB welcome to Brother Jihad Turk.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to stand over here so I can see everybody. I hope you don't mind. Someone's going to be behind the pole, but I'm going to stand over here. This is a time to celebrate. As a community, we gather together to remind each other of what's truly important in life. We gather for the Jum'ah prayer, for the Salah. We gather when we have to bury somebody, or when we are facing a challenge or calamity. But we also are a community to come together and share in each other's times of joy and celebration. And tonight is a time of joy and celebration. So let us acknowledge that and let us praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the accomplishments that those amongst us this evening are celebrating, their milestone, their graduation, the accomplishment of the achievement of some level or degree of education that then prepares them for the next stage. So let us say for them, Takbir, Takbir, Takbir. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Imagine, as human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells this beautiful story or a very, very palpable story. It's a strong story because it's in Surah Yasin. You can imagine the Prophet of God, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's there, he's preaching to the people of his time. And he's telling them that they shouldn't worship false gods, they should worship the one true God. And it's important not only for them to only worship the one true God, but that they behave in a certain way that is pleasing to God, that is good, that is moral, that is upright, that is just. And some of these people, they didn't like the message. They challenged it. They didn't believe that there was only one God and that there was a day of judgment in which God would decide their fate. They didn't believe in the hereafter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the story of a man who comes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a dried bone in his hand, and he crushes it in the face of the Prophet and it turns to dust. And he said, who is going to revitalize this bone? Who's going to bring it back to life? After, look, I've just scattered it. There's no way God can bring this back to life. And God tells him how to respond. He says, tell him, the one who created it the first time can recreate it with ease. And then he goes on to talk about the other creation and the heavens and the earth and what's more challenging, the creation of all of that or just this little thing. But the interesting part of this story is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frames it. How he frames the story. Because he says, before that story, he says, فَلَا يَحْزُنْكَ قَوْلُهُمْ. Don't let their argumentation, their attitude, their posture make you distressed or sad. It says, however, فَلَا يَحْزُنْكَ قَوْلُهُمْ إِنَّا نَعْلَمُ مَا يُسَرُّونَ وَمَا يُعْلِنُونَ أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الْإِنسَانَ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ. He says, don't be grieved by the sayings of those who deny the truth. Verily, we, God, knows all that they keep secret as well as all that they bring into open. But here's the part, this next ayah. أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ. This is the part I want to bring your attention to. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, are humans or is man then not aware that it is we who created him out of a mere drop of sperm? Whereupon, lo, he shows himself endowed with the power to think and to argue. The point that I'm making here is this. As a species, as human beings, sometimes we are so enamored with our success and our accomplishments and our achievements technologically, our mastery, our dominance over this world, our creation of machines and instruments and our looking at DNA, etc. Sometimes we become intoxicated with our own power. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenges us in that and says, not only that we should pursue power, but never forget, because it is our nature. Sometimes we become intoxicated with our own knowledge. We forget our place in the grand scheme of things. So as Muslims, we have the delicate balance between pursuing knowledge and taking it to its farthest extent and exploiting all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created by way of our abilities, our intellect, and the natural world, and exploiting that for good, but at the same time never becoming intoxicated, never developing, if you're in medicine, the God complex, where we believe ourselves to be more powerful, more in control than ultimately we are, but rather to have that balance of humility at the same time. And it's this leadership that we should exhibit while pursuing excellence in everything that we study that should set us apart. For there is a verse in the Quran that I love. I love this verse in the Quran. It says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. And for those who know grammar, this is a tricky one. It's in fact, some of the early grammarians suggest that the case endings were invented. They didn't exist in the time of the Prophet. The fatha, dhamma, kasra, they didn't exist at the time the Quran was first written down. Abu Aswad al-Du'ali actually came up with this system about 60 hijrah. And not only the dots didn't all exist as we know them now, but neither did the fatha, dhamma, kasra. But this verse is reputed to have been the impetus behind the creation of that system, that clearly allows us to know when to pronounce something with an a, an u, or e, etc. when reciting the Quran. Because someone reportedly had made a mistake and said "Innama yakhsha Allahu" instead of "Innama yakhsha Allah," which the difference is the difference between night and day, black and white. This verse says, only those who have true knowledge amongst the servants of God are in awe of him, can truly be in awe of him. And if you read it incorrectly, it goes the other way around, that God is in awe of or fearful of those who have knowledge, which of course is not the way it should be read or understood. That being said, that grammatical note to the side, this is a powerful verse. What this verse says is, in order for you, as a servant of God, as a believer, to be truly in awe of God, you need knowledge. You need knowledge of the physical world, you need knowledge of the scripture and the spiritual world, and you need knowledge of self-knowledge. For it is through understanding and knowledge, and the more you grow in your knowledge with that framework, the more you're appreciative and in awe of the Creator. There's a statistical study done of scientists in today's world. And what's fascinating is those scientists that are working on something very specific and particular, whether it be in medicine or biology or chemistry, oftentimes, more often than not, are agnostic or atheist. But those scientists that are looking at the cosmos, at outer space and the universe, more often than not, are believers in God, because they look at the big picture and they see the incredible beauty of the creation as a whole, and they recognize that there must be a creator for this. But sometimes when we get into the specifics of the science, and we are able to manipulate and control to the extent where we feel like we're in charge, we forget about the creator. So this verse is a reminder for us to always pursue knowledge so that we can truly be appreciative of God. But لا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء, as Ayatul Kursi says, we don't encompass anything of God's knowledge except for the small amount that He allows us to. So I wanted to talk about one more thing before I conclude, because this is really about celebrating the graduates. We want to get to, I saw some beautiful chocolates back here and some dessert, so we want to get to that as quickly as possible. But I do want to leave you with one final thought and a story. Knowledge is something that we pursue according to our mission in life as believers, is to pursue knowledge from the cradle to the grave, as we're taught by our beloved Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And knowledge is a benefit if it helps us grow closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and conduct ourselves in a way that's pleasing to Him. Now, there are some worldly benefits of knowledge. Yes, you can have a good job. Yes, you can have reputation. You can support your family. You can contribute to this incredible, beautiful facility and community. There are benefits, worldly benefits of having knowledge. But the ultimate benefit, I would say, of having knowledge is that it can help you fulfill your potential as human beings to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through leadership. Because it is when you accomplish excellence in your education that you will be looked to exhibit leadership. And I would argue that a good leader has 5 qualities. The first of those qualities, the first and foremost, is a good leader has good vision, has an understanding of where the community and society needs to go. If you don't have vision and you have the other qualities of a leader, people might look to you and you might be representing or reflecting what the current thinking is of the community, but you're not leading anybody anywhere unless you have a vision of where you as a community and a society need to go. We haven't arrived yet. We have a way to go. And as a leader, you have to have clarity of vision, and it's knowledge that helps us understand where it is that we need to go. The other qualities include having integrity as a person, having love for other people, and compassion, which you need in order to be a leader, because if you have a great vision and you have integrity and you go to that place where you envision that we need to go by yourself, you're a pioneer, you're an explorer, but if no one's following you, you're sure not a leader. So you need to have compassion and love and care for people to work with them where they are and to try and take them to the next level. And ultimately, a good leader, as we learned from Prophet Musa alayhi salam, has to be able to communicate effectively. For when he was given a leadership mission to go and address and face the Pharaoh, the most powerful man on the planet at the time, his first request was, "Oh Allah, let me process this big mission that you've just given me. Let me breathe. Let me expand my breath," is just an idiomatic way to say, let me take in a deep breath and let me process psychologically, emotionally, this big challenge and charge that you've given me. But the second thing he said is, "Oh Allah, let me be eloquent. Untie the knot from my tongue and let me speak in a way that others can understand me." So a good leader, you need to have vision, you have to have integrity so that you're worthy of being followed. You have to have compassion and love for people. You have to thereby inspire followers. And you have to be able to communicate in such a way that you inspire people. And so I would argue that each one of you, as you graduate and you develop you continue on to the next level of your education, that you consider the privilege that you have living in this society with the educational opportunities before you. For you are, whether you like it or not, whether you like the title or not, you're in the 1%. You're in the elite of not only the society, but of the world. And with that comes a tremendous responsibility, more accountability in the day of judgment. And even if you don't feel like you are at the level of Bill Gates, he's a 0.0001%, you still are in the top 1% of the population in the world. And with that comes a tremendous responsibility to use your knowledge to help you become a good leader and lead people in a way that will be beneficial to them and to society in the standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. And here's the story that I'm going to conclude with. And it's an inspirational story for me. And it's a local story. There were a group of students here in Los Angeles studying at UCLA who came out of the youth group at the Islamic Center where I used to serve as the imam and the director. And this was back in the 90s, before I was here. Back in the 90s, there was some civil unrest here in South Los Angeles. The LA riots, the LA uprising, you can call it different things. There was some civil unrest here in South Los Angeles. And it was a manifestation of anger that was rooted in inequality, racism, and inequity that was taking place, and it still is an issue until today, that had been triggered by the Rodney King verdict, in which the police officers that beat him were not found guilty. Now, it was a day, how many of you remember that day? Raise your hand. All right, how many of you weren't even born in 1994, when was it, 93, 94, 92, 91, 92? 91, all right. How many of you were not even born then? All right, how many of you graduating today were not even born then? All right, how many of you who were not born then still know about it? All right. It was a big deal here in Los Angeles. And I was actually studying at the Islamic University of Medina at the time when this happened, so I wasn't here in town. However, the part of that story that inspires me is that this group of medical students at UCLA, they saw this manifestation of the injustice here in race relations and in economic injustice, etc. And they said, you know, this isn't our problem. We didn't create it. We didn't cause this problem. But as Muslims, we should be part of the solution. What can we do as medical students to address this injustice that led to this uprising, these riots? They got together and they brainstormed and they said, one small thing we can do is we can, as medical students, and we have a lot of Muslim doctors in the area, let us band together and form a free medical clinic in the heart of South Central Los Angeles. And let's make it open to the community. We'll call it the University Muslim Medical Association, the Ummah Free Clinic. Opened 25 years ago in response to that injustice. Anyone here part of the founding of Ummah?
Oh, founding of.
All right. How many of you are one of the founders? One of the supporters from early days? All right, yes. There are some of you. How many of you are aware of the Ummah Clinic? All right, they opened a second branch about 10 years ago, about 8 years ago in Fremont High School, also in South Central Los Angeles. And it serves tens of thousands of people who otherwise would not get medical care. It's an incredible testament to the kind of leadership that we can exhibit when we have knowledge, when we have vision, when we have integrity, when we have the ability and love for people and the ability to inspire and communicate what that vision is. So on this day of celebration of your graduation from whatever level you're graduating, let us be inspired by them and by the excellence that you're achieving to take it to have each one of you exhibit leadership in whatever area or sphere of your expertise, whether that be in the hard sciences. I'm going to make a plug here for the humanities. Sorry, Dr. Irshadi. I started out engineering myself, maybe not petroleum engineering, but I started out engineering before I made a switch to humanities. Not because I'm better at humanities, I'd probably be better at sciences, but because of the need in our community for us to also exhibit a broad spectrum of leadership in every different field. So whatever the field is that you're in or you're going into or that you aspire to, achieve excellence, achieve leadership, and we want to be telling your stories in future graduation ceremonies. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations to all the graduates.
Thank you, Brother Hector, for the inspiring words and reminding us all the importance of knowledge in our deen and how activism can really play an important role in that. Now to the part of the ceremony, which I'm sure all of you are looking forward to. I'm pretty sure the graduates are getting a little bit anxious there. I would like to welcome to the stage Sister Yasmin Mahida. And Sister Yasmin is a teacher and someone who's very passionate about it. Every time I see Yasmin in the masjid, she's always surrounded by little kids and everybody's always trying to get her attention. And I think if we were to do a poll for the ICSB kids on who their favorite person is, I'm pretty sure it would be Yasmin. Sister Yasmin.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, thank you for that introduction. It was very nice of you. I would, first of all, thank you all for coming. I know this is the part that you guys are all just waiting for, so I'm just going to get right into it. I will be introducing the grads in 4 categories tonight, inshallah: high school, associates, bachelor's, and finally master's. I'm requesting Dr. Shaggy and Brother Mirza to please help me in awarding the certificates to the grads tonight. And I'm also requesting Sister Mrs. Shaggy for the sashes.
Okay, we're starting.
Okay, and we are starting. All right, and I'd request graduates to kind of walk around and come get your certificates and your sash as well. I'd like to begin with high school. So with her high school diploma, I'd first like to call Sister Anusha Faisal from West High School. With her high school diploma from North Valley Military Institute College Preparatory Academy, Sister Aya Jihad. With her high school diploma.
You're not done yet. Oh. Yes. You have to say this again. I want your hands on. Then you get chocolate. Then you get chocolate.
Everybody has to say.
If you say something good, you'll get the chocolate. Otherwise, you'll not get the chocolate.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, actually, my name is Fatima. So, that's a bit, there's an H at the end. Alright, so, inshallah, I just graduated from high school and I should be continuing my education at the University of California, Berkeley for 4 more years. Inshallah, career in medicine, but you know, everything's up to change. We'll see.
Now you can get your chocolate.
So yes, if graduates would like to say kind of where they're going inshallah next or what their plans are, that would be great inshallah after you get their certificate. Next, with her high school diploma from the Opportunities for Learning Charter School, we welcome Sister Aya Tamimi.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aya. Alhamdulillah, I graduated from Opportunities for Learning. Inshallah, I will be attending Kelsey Long Beach in the fall, and I will be meeting computer science.
Next, with his high school diploma from the California Connections Academy, we welcome Hamad Siddiq. Next, we have college degrees. So these are Associates of Science or Associates of Arts degrees. First, I'd like to welcome Brother Ahmed is here with his Associate of Science, Arts in Business Administration and General Studies.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmed Zia. I think it said Zia Ahmed, so I just want to make sure. But so yeah, as you guys know, I did my associates I got 2 associate's degrees at El Camino College. I'm pursuing education in business marketing, so I'm going to, inshallah, go to the school of UC Riverside. So to pursue marketing, like I just said. So if you guys have any businesses that you guys want to have marketed in the future, just know, family comes first. So we're all community here. So help a brother out.
Okay, next we have with her Associates of Arts in General Studies from El Camino College is Judania Ahmed.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Zadi Ahmed. I graduated from El Camino College, and I will be transferring to UCI in major psychology.
Next, with the Associate of Arts in Psychology, we have Fahima. Go ahead. And I do believe Mother's picking it up for her. Yes. Mother is here. She's at work. It's okay.
Stand up, sister. Please, come on. Come on, stand up. Yeah.
I do know that Fahima Boyle is transferring to UC Irvine in the fall and studying psychology.
MashaAllah, sister, congratulations. Sister, I have to say something on her behalf. Let me see her.
UC Irvine, major in psychology.
MashaAllah. Congratulations. It's good one.
She's for shaking us.
Hello. Next, with his Associate of Science and Arts in Business Administration and General Studies from El Camino College, Faraz Malik.
Like you said, I have two associates. I did all my classes with my friend Ahmed over there. So, we took all the same classes together. We're going to be both doing marketing, but I'm going to UC Irvine. So if you have any business you need to do, call me first before you call him.
Next, with her Associate of Arts in Psychology, we have Hamna Saeed.
Amna Sayed.
Okay.
Amina Sayed.
HAM لسه.
Next, with the Associate of Science in Biology, Chemistry, and General Studies from El Camino College, we have Imran Ilyas.
How was your journey, sister? It's difficult?
Yeah, right.
May Allah make it easy, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. So I'll be attending UC Berkeley. I can't really help you with any marketing. Chemistry. So. I'll be studying biochemistry.
Next, from El Camino College with his Associates of Science and Engineering, we have Muhammad Aziz.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. First of all, I'd like to thank the whole community for, the support that they give to the young children. And I will be attending UC Irvine, and I'll be studying aerospace engineering.
Next, with her Associate of Arts in Child Development from LA Helper College, please welcome Lisa Mehroun. Can I see her kids cheering for her in the back?
Yes. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you for the community and also the Berlin Mirza and all the people and the organizer. I attend also the volunteer, so I know how the effort did for everyone. Like they did all stuff, and I'm taking transferring from CSU for in child development bachelor degree. Thank you.
Next, with her Associates of Arts in Political Science, Communication, and General Studies from El Camino College, we have Sana Naqvi. Can with her Associates of Science from Marymount, California University. We have Suha Ahsan. Next, with Associates of Science in Psychology and Pre-Med student from Marymount, California University, we have Tuba Asif Riyad. Okay, and those are our associate's degrees. Thank you again. Please give me a hand of applause for those associates. Next, we have our Bachelor's of Science, and first we have with Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering from Cal State Long Beach, Amina Tamimi.
أشهر واحدة أمينة.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amina Tamimi. I am graduating from Cal State Long Beach with a degree in mechanical engineering. I honestly have no idea what I'm going to do next, but inshallah, we'll see what I do. Inshallah.
Next, we have from the Marymount, California University with his Associates of Science in Nursing and Bachelor's of Science in Biomedical Sciences, Azhar Khan.
Assalamu alaikum. So I graduated from Marymount, California University with my 2 degrees in hopes of getting into med school within the next year.
Next, with the Bachelor of Arts in Public Health from UC Berkeley, we have Rahma Akram.
So I graduated from UC Berkeley with a degree in inshallah, I will be starting in the fall my master's in global sciences at ICSB. And I'm also studying command care right now with the hopes of pursuing medicine in the future. So please keep me in your dua. Inshallah, I hope to also come back to help out the community that raised me. So yeah, I encourage you all to do the same.
Next, with her Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology from Cal State University, Dominguez Hills, we have Sister Warda Khan.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, alhamdulillah, I was able to get my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology this past May. So, inshallah, the plan from here on out is to continue with my job as a TA for Los Angeles Unified School District. And inshallah, hopefully, apply for my master's very soon.
She is good,
MashaAllah.
Also, I wanted to say that on the screens is a lot of, on the screen is a lot of accomplishments that each student has done. I know they're not really saying a lot of things because, mashallah, they're very humble, but on this screen is a lot of their accomplishments that they have told us about. Next, with his Bachelor of Science in Biology from UC Irvine, Zishan Qadri.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So yeah, my name is Zishan Qadri. I graduated from UCI with a degree in bio. Inshallah, I plan on working in the following year as a junior specialist in the clinical trials unit at UCI. And the following year, I intend on applying to medical school. So I'm here as well.
All right, can I get another round of applause for our Bachelor of Science? And next we have Masters. Our first Master's student with a Master of Science in Chemistry from CSU Los Angeles is Ala Abdullah.
As I said, I just got my master's in chemistry, and inshallah in the fall I'll be starting my PhD in biochemistry and molecular genetics at Northwestern University in Toronto. And any degree I have, it belongs to me and it belongs to my mom.
Okay, next, the Master's of Science in Education from UCLA, Dania Takesh.
That's my sister. That's my cousin.
Assalamualaikum. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. I just graduated from UCLA with a master's in education, and I currently teach in LAUSD district at a high school for low-income students. I teach biology, physiology, and anatomy, and inshallah, I will continue to serve underserved communities. Inshallah, until this community decides to open a high school and then hire me as a biology teacher.
Okay, this is Brother Ahmed's cousin, everyone. Okay, next with a Master of Science in Health Sciences from Touro University, we have Hashir Omar. Can his dad come up?
Yeah, let's see.
He's not here.
Next, with the Master of Science in Nursing, Pediatric Nurse Practitioner from UCLA, we have Mariam Al-Hakim. This is Brother Muhammad's cousin.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mariam Al-Hakim. Thank you so much for having me. I got my pediatric nurse practitioner from UCLA. It was a 2-year program. I've been working at Children's Hospital LA for the past 5 years, and inshallah will continue working there and looking for inshallah a nurse practitioner job as well. I'm actually Danya's roommate for the past 4 years, and Allah, she's helped me a lot, and I hope to also continue serving underserved communities. Thank you so much.
Next, with the Master of Science in Education from Cal State University, Dominguez Hills, we have Raya Tamimi.
This word is tough.
بسجل
Alhamdulillah. Thank you everyone for organizing this event. We're so grateful for having a community that is very supportive of young Muslims. Alhamdulillah, I just finished my teaching credential, finished up my last master's courses over the summer. Inshallah, I'll be teaching in 7th grade science and health at school in LAUSD. Again, in an underserved community, again, like our Danya and Mariam. All right, shukran. Jazakumullah khair.
Next, with the Masters of Data Science from Lancaster University, we have Saif Rahman.
Take this boy here. Take him there. Go now. Children. My dad is asking.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
He's asking, where are you?
So I just completed my master's in data science from Lancaster University, and I guess Hijaz is really popular, so I'm his cousin as well. But yeah, continuing with Ahmed and Faraz's trend, if you guys need anybody that needs data science, let me know. But I started working at the Aerospace Corporation as a data scientist.
The cutest boy ever.
And finally, with the Masters of Business Administration in Healthcare Management from Cal State University of Long Beach, we have Shiza Fatima.
Say loud, say loud. Say loud. It's good.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I got my MBA this past May, and although I specialized in health management, I can also help with marketing.
And that concludes our graduates. Can we give another round of applause for our class of 2018? Can all the graduates actually come up for a picture?
والله يا أمينة أشطر واحدة أنت. أمينة أنت أشطر واحدة. But you should say like your next plan is to continue the Quran Academy. You have like no plan until now. You should say my plan is to continue the محمد كيف حالك؟ ألف مبروك إن شاء الله.
أنا تنبه هذا شو اسمه مصور شو اسمه؟
Isn't she? Oh, sitting down. Because she doesn't have a job, she's sitting down.
يلا عبالك شيخنا. الله اكبر. ايوه ابو حميد ايوه. انس شيخنا مكبر قال. شيخ احمد. الله اكبر ما شاء الله.
After this picture.
You want to show your exact okay, everybody.
Yasemin. Yasemin.
جميل. نعم تعال يا Selamat ya Syekh.
احمد تعال هون تعال احمد تعال عشان يكتشفوك في هوليوود.
تعال 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 صوري لي احمد صوري صوري.
أول كويس
نقعد على الارض. حضر الكاميرا. هاي معاذ هون. ها ها a little bit on the right. He was smiling all the time. Shoot.
الصورة هاي. الله يعطيك العافية. والله ما قصرت. هيو منى.
مبروك لعيلة التميمي، مبروك ان شاء الله احلى عيلة. والولاد
Okay, the program is not finished yet. Continuing, we just have a few more. If I can have everybody seated, please, and then we can take pictures later, inshallah.
Let me just take away. Just real quick.
So there will be plenty of time to take your questions at the end of this. Okay, so inshallah, to close off our ceremony, I would like to introduce Sister Jadeen for a few words. Now, Sister Jadeen is someone who I personally look to as a role model ever since I met her. Can we please quiet down? Is that too loud? So to close off the ceremony, I would like to introduce to the stage Sister Jadeen. Sister Jadeen is someone who I personally look up to ever since I met her. I was like, that's the person that I want to be like when I grow up. Sister Jadeen graduated top of her class with the summa cum laude, which is the highest distinction, mashallah. And Sister Jadeen is currently a physician assistant at Kaiser. And not only that, but she plays an active role in the masjid and ICMA as well. She has her husband to thank for always pushing her to excel and be the best that she could be. She truly is an exemplary representative of a Muslim woman in healthcare. Can we give it up for Sister Jadeen?
Thank you, Amina, for the introduction. First of all, enough about me. Today is not about me. Today is your day. Alhamdulillah. The graduates, congratulations, everyone. And I want to say this, instead of inspiring you or motivating you, I thought you got enough inspiration and motivation from our great speakers. But I did acknowledge or notice certain things which I want to share, the remarks. I was so happy to see each one of you, the way you walked, subhanAllah. It was overwhelming for me. I almost felt like tears. The way you walked with the pride, and I felt that you're proud to be a Muslim. You carried your identity, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, that I wanted you to carry when you leave from here. But I think you came with it, alhamdulillah. And I want you to continue to grow with that identity that you have that makes you feel proud of who you are, which you are. You have every reason to be proud, and you have every reason to be confident with what you have. You know, in America, when we talk about when you walk with confidence, you must walk with confidence, even if you don't have it. This is something like your confidence makes you who you are. Now, why is the We have everything. SubhanAllah. We have everything. What we don't have. And we have been so privileged. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We have been so privileged just being a Muslim. I want you to acknowledge and know who you are. Identify yourself. Know your identity. And if you don't know, find out. And I would say that should be your first task. If you already know, alhamdulillah, continue to grow with it. But if you don't know who you are. Know your strength, know your weaknesses. And know that your weakness can be in your favor. And that's what I pray. May Allah make all your strength and weaknesses in your favor. And how it becomes in your favor? Like, alhamdulillah, our Imam Jihad Church said, the knowledge, which is the beneficial knowledge that brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That brings you, or that helps you to recognize your Creator. So if your weaknesses brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, that's a blessing from Allah. And know that your achievement, all that you have done so far, alhamdulillah, that's not an end, that's a beginning. And know that you will be tested. Allah is going to test you. And every time the choices that you make, favoring your iman, your deen, sometimes it will appear that you failed. It will appear that you didn't get the job that you wanted. It will appear that you're really losing. Then know that time, actually, that's where you start winning. That's your strength. How? It's all about you, how you feel about it. In a sense, if you didn't get what you wanted, you have an opportunity at that time either to feel happy, privileged, or feel down, depressed. You have a choice to make that time. And that's your choice. Anytime you feel depressed or down, think that, did you choose this? And know that yes, you chose that. That means you can feel proud and happy and positive when you are down or when you didn't get what you wanted. And how? Know that everything that happens to you, it happens by the will of Allah. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, nothing that you wish or will, but except that what Allah wants and will, that will happen to you. So whatever happens to you, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when the moment you think that if it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you just feel proud of it. You just feel happy that it is from Allah. It's not that I choose. And inshallah, that will uplift you. That will bring you back to who you are. Carry your identity as a Muslim, no matter which profession and where you go. And I pray that, and as a community, we pray, and first of all, I want to thank you for making us feel proud of you. Alhamdulillah, as a community, we're so proud of you, each one of you. And we hope that we see you again and again, and we see your success again and again, inshallah. And don't forget to come back and see us again and again. I know many of you have volunteered, already offered your services, so you will be contacted, inshallah. Inshallah. Inshallah, in closing, overall, yes, we thank our Dr. Irshadi. It was his plan, it was his idea, how he conceived this. I don't know, subhanAllah, but I know it was supported by his wife. It was inspired by his wife, subhanAllah. So we are very grateful to both Dr. Irshadi and his wife, alhamdulillah, and our ICSB, President Brother Mirza, and the whole board member, and every single one who work here. You volunteer here. You are contributing to this masjid and the progress and the growth of this masjid. Everyone should feel proud of it, to being a part of this ICSB, and inshallah, we will grow together. And I thank every one of you. Now we want to like to give special thanks to some of our volunteers who really worked hard to make this day a successful day. And I really feel it was a successful. And I believe everybody feels the same way. And some of the names I would like to bring. And if I don't call your name, that doesn't mean that we did not recognize it. It still means that you've been recognized and you've been acknowledged, that your work, more than anybody else recognized and acknowledged, Allah knows your work. Even if you did dua for this work, this masjid or this progress of this masjid, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and Allah is the best appreciator. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciate us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with all that we do here. Now, the first name I have for the volunteer is Sister Razia. She has been volunteering, subhanAllah. She is my role model. She's been here, I don't know, I think 40 years, sister? 40 years or so. She's been working day and night. The hours she would have given, I have no words, subhanAllah. I don't even know. I don't think even she knows if she can count. But I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that every single deed she did here, every dua that she made here, Allah, may Allah appreciate her and reward her abundantly. So Sister Razia, can you come over? So inshallah,
my favorite. Jazakallah khairan, and it's hard for me to say I feel cry. But I'm so proud of you all because 90% students, they came on the podium as a graduate, they all are my students. So I'm proud of you and congratulations. And my du'as are with you for your future.
And I would like to call Mrs. Irshadi, Mitra Irshadi. It's just a small flower, and it's just a token of saying thank you. And this is not enough. I know the kind of work we all do here. I only could say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundant for everything that you do for this masjid that you have done.
Thank you so much. You know, in 1985, when we started with the conception of having the Islamic Center of South Bay here, gathering in our homes, and then in Courtyard Mall of Palace Brothers, then to YMC, and then to YMC of Hermosa Beach, then coming to this little house that is going to be demolished soon. It was only the people were not more than the fingers, the number of the fingers on one hand. Now I'm so proud to see so many volunteers and so many people, young and old. I don't feel small to learn from people such as you guys, and from you guys who graduated. You are all source of inspiration for me, and every day I'm learning something from all of you. Thank you so much.
And the rest of the name, I'm just going to read it, and inshallah we'll give the flower later because of your short time. So Sister Saida Kausar, she is the one. You see these beautiful decorations was from Sister Saida. And she does again and again for the masjid. Every event we have, we call her, and she said, okay, I'm there. SubhanAllah. We can trust her, we can rely on her. And she's not here right now, and her son also graduated. Alhamdulillah. And Sister Khali Sheikh, she's not here again today, but she's another volunteer, SubhanAllah. You can rely on her anytime, any event you call her. She helps you by every means. Alhamdulillah. Sister Rihanna Raisi, alhamdulillah, our beautiful sister here. She is the Subhanallah. This was, she was the lead for this whole program, the way she carried. She just, you will not believe, she just 2 months ago, she had a major neck surgery, the spine surgery. And it is just amazing, and I'm in the medical field, I do pain management, so I know how she's doing so much. I have no words. But again, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward her every single thing that she does. Abundance, subhanAllah. Sister Shimala Sabah, she's not here, again, she's out for vacation with her husband, and they're great, amazing people here. They're volunteering and helping our masjid in different areas. Sister Yasmin Mahida, no words needed for her. Sister Amina Tamimi, and Sister Najra, Sister Raya, Sister, the whole family, subhanAllah, and the work, alhamdulillah. May Allah reward them abundantly, mashallah. Sister Gulnaz Rahman, again, she doesn't need any introduction or any word. Name is enough, subhanAllah. Sister Gulnaz, and her, and Sister Rahila. You see those beautiful candies was donated by Sister Rahila and Sister Gulnaz. So please give them a round. Alhamdulillah, may Allah reward your abundance, subhanAllah. And the rest, every one of you who have did anything that you did, whether even if you did dua, may Allah reward you abundance. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And last thank you to Sister Jabeen, who's always here day and night helping out this community. So we can get a round of applause to Sister Jabeen. Inshallah, thank you all for coming. Jazakallah khairan. We appreciate your efforts. We will be praying Salah soon, Maghrib soon. We will be having food for all of you, inshallah. If the graduates can come back for one more picture, that would be great. And then we will be praying Salat al-Maghrib, and we'll be having food after Maghrib prayer. Yes, if you want a professional photograph picture with your family, you can ask Brother Amjad for that, and he'll take care of it for you. Also,